to the major.
Yep.
And EG also go to the major, but they're second place.
Yes, exactly.
But if Nouns wins the third game, then we have a three-way tie. That's the only way that this resets.
Yep.
But Quincy Crew versus EG, obviously the hypest matchup that we could possibly come up with today. They played recently. Quincy Crew was completely undefeated in both series and games in that time, but they lost 2-0 to EG. And that first game was a complete shellacking, which EG actually had Dazzle Lycan, and Quincy Crew kind of steal it away from them.
Yeah, a little bit of a yoink in regards to the draft, but you kind of need to do that in the best of one. You need to surprise your opponent a little bit, and Quincy Crew, especially when they picked up Fada, they're not afraid to push the envelope in regards to draft and picking heroes that you might not expect them to be playing. Yeah, very much Quincy. They're looking at playing the strong lanes, grouping up early, and just every timing, just being in the face of your opponent. Just Quincy's going to lead the charge with this Lycan behind him and just trying to take over the map before this Terrorblade gets to his triple item timing, which we've seen so many times with Arteezy.
God, I mean, I joke about this all the time. I'm just going to keep bringing it up if they keep picking it. Medusa or Terrorblade? Last game was Medusa. This time is Terrorblade. Going back to their roots.
It's a best of one.
I know.
You need the security.
Yeah.
You want to get to the major.
Understandable.
North American major? EG's not there?
That would be weird.
That would be just kind of weird.
That is true. You guys did mention this, but I wasn't listening, so please answer it again. T-Gov.
I was Lacoste talking.
Quincy Crew, they have one stun. It's the Bushwhack. I mean, you could kind of count Poison Touch to I mean, not really. Basically, as far as stuns,
that's
Bushwhack.
a 2-second hex, boss. All right, I'm counting that as a decent stun at 15.
That's not 2 seconds. It's like 1.75.
It got buffed, didn't it? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that doesn't count.
Okay.
Is that enough stun?
Sorry, Dazzle. Yeah, not really. It's not a lot of stun, but that's why I put a lot of emphasis on this lineup crushing the lanes, because when your lineup doesn't have big team fight, your whole job in the game is just to remove the jungle pre-20 minutes so that you have this item advantage, and the difficulties in lack of stun is covered by itemization, be it bashers or Gleipnirs or orchids or whatever, so that you can at least kind of pseudo stun them and just control the team fights, right? So yes, it will be a difficult problem. If this game goes 40 minutes, this Terrorblade, this DK, they'll be laughing at Quincy Crew pretty much.
Yep. I think there's definitely a time limit on Quincy Crew's their lineup. I mean, we've seen Lycans go pretty late, and because of the split pushing, depending on how many racks you're up, they could still win, obviously. I haven't gotten to see Juggernaut in a long time. How does this hero scale these days?
Yeah, right now, we're in the no defensive item era of Juggernaut, where you go for some poison stats, you have spin, and you buy a Mjolnir before anything else. Of course, you buy boots, yeah, but yeah.
Okay.
It's like phase boots, Mjolnir. You keep farming, you get super fat, you can do a lot of damage with the early Omni slashes. The lack of right click is offset by the Mjolnir procs, but
and how important is Shard?
Very important.
Okay.
It's, some would argue, critical.
Right. I do love Shard on that hero. Allows you to attack through your spin, which obviously synergizes with the Mjolnir. Okay. Looking forward to this.
Appreciating my joke.
Yeah, thank you. Very good, T-Gov. You're doing great today. Keep up the good work. As Nightfall is going to be playing the Viper, and we talked about Jug. You are playing that this time around, and obviously Quincy Crew wants some revenge for yesterday. And by yesterday, I mean 2 days ago. Fata taking some heavy damage. Looks like he's just dead. First blood goes to Nightfall.
And that is the reason why I think Tusk and Viper were picked up so quickly from EG. Like, they're the Dazzle team in this region, and they know the strengths and weaknesses. Damage over time, longer fights, Dazzle will thrive. It will be one of the best supports to enable a carry.
Yeah.
But when you just have raw damage in the moment, you have the shards, the tag team, the poison attack, Dazzle will know it can heal through all of that damage. And even if you have Grave, you're just going to build up the poison stacks and just make it even harder. So yeah, this isn't going to be the Dazzle lane, which is 1v2ing the off-lane joke. If you step up to be aggressive, you're going to die.
Yeah. I mean, I think one thing that's interesting, we talked about last game Nouns being very crazy in their picks. They can flex a lot of stuff. And I think Quincy Crew, their one wild card, I want to call it, is Fata, playing these weird supports like Razor and whatnot. Yep. He's playing something kind of traditional. I'm not saying he can't play Dazzle, but obviously he would rather not based on what he's picked this entire season.
Can I pause you for a second?
Yes.
As we look at the mid lane, DK is slaughtering Kotal on
14, wow, 13 denies.
Yeah. And this is probably one of the reasons why they picked it up. Melee hero against Keeper of Light.
Melee, yep.
A non-ranged hero in the mid lane.
That's right.
Of course. you have tankiness with your Dragon's Blood, so you can survive through the magic spam of the Illuminate, and then you just get to just deny everything. So maybe when we were talking about Kunkka versus DK, Kunkka sure could have been better for the game against Lycan, but maybe Abed, as you see here, he clearly enjoys this DK matchup. Look, he doesn't care about that Illuminate, and he's just denying everything.
I can't remember the last time I've seen this many denies come out. As we can see the XP differential, Abed about to hit level 5. Actually, Quinn's doing just fine because he's going to the small camp. Yeah, he's making up for it.
Exactly, that's the main thing. Quinn still has access to a small camp. So, but the fact here is Quinn is not, his net worth's not just accelerating, right?
True.
The fact that every single deny, that's a CS miss. That's economy being taken away from Keeper. Like, so sure, XP is still favoring Quinn, but just his bot's timing will be minutes slower now.
Right. And it's going to be a little bit harder for the denies to come out from Abed now that there's a level 3 Illuminate from Quinn. But yeah, we'll see how much that hurts him in terms of the snowball potential for that Keeper of the Light. As you can see, EG, in terms of their CS for Arteezy, 20 and 9. Fata, he's going to get gone on again. You can tell that he knows he's dead. As long as Yawar doesn't die, he's going to be a happy camper. But Arteezy, 22 and 9, and Yawar on that Juggernaut, 12 and 1. So basically doubling up the opposing position 1 for EG.
And already an aggressive tip coming out from Nightfall on Fata. We'll see how that one develops for the rest of this game.
We need a full analysis of the tips and whatnot, the history.
I mean, I'm down to...
That'd be a cool website if you could just go look, right?
I've been saying this for like at least 6 months. I want to do tip analysis where you get the TI, and then when you have the matchup of like Fly v No-Tail, you're like, so back in 2019, he actually tipped 32 times in this series.
That actually, would not even memeing here, would be awesome.
I know.
That would be actually really good content.
I will try and find the way to do it.
Yawar forced to TP out. It's going to be to the same tier 1 that he's already at, and you can see the TPs coming in from EG, so there's going to be 3 members down here. If they can go for Yawar, he's obviously going to be punished for TPing back to this tier 1. Crit showing himself. Wants to kill off Fata again, gets off the tag team. Look at the damage coming out the Shadow Wave though. Snowball. Nightfall now. The focus is onto Fata himself. As you can see, Fly is going to drop on the other side of the map, so it's a 1-for-1 in that way. And Yawar still in the tree line. Does have spin available now, but you can see he's only level 3.
Mass TPs though.
Yep, Quinn, he's going to see Abed. Gets off the Illuminate. But damage has been done to this tier 1 tower, although Abed does get pushed back to the tree, but I think he will be more than fine. And Crit getting chased off by Yawar. But Crit's almost the same level as Yawar, so trying to sidestep that Illuminate. Does a good job. Hits 2 other members of EG instead. But either way, EG get away with yet another good exchange for them. So 2K lead in this very early stage of this best of 1. And again, if EG wins this best of 1, they go to the major.
They have really important rotations though from EG. The fact that DK, he didn't even care about showing the lane. He just utilizing that catapult wave. Quincy brings 4 heroes down. Fly then goes to mid to cover the mid tower. Yeah, EG, they didn't lose their mid to the Coddle and the catapult pressure. Forced them down bottom. So they're just keeping the map state in a really stable place for them. And then they move back into their normal patterns. Wyvern's making stacks, DK back to mid. Just, yeah, everyone farming up. Slowly building up lead. Already a 1K lead. Wouldn't be surprised if that bounces up to 2K.
It did actually. It's been bad. It's very close to 2K right now, guaranteed.
After this wave, you think it's going to go to 2?
Yes. Right on this creep. Now! Okay, got it. You could
very close.
Need fast reactions to see that. Abed doing more than fine though. Has Treads Bracer as Yawar continuing to take a lot of damage here. Quinn has made another rotation. They really need a kill. The snowball ends up mitigating all the damage as Nightfall attempts to TP out. So another TP from Quinn nets 0 kills. Yeah, that is rough.
This is really rough because not only are you forcing your mid to TP into bottom, Crit is perfect snowballs keeping himself alive, but look at Yawar, 2.1k net worth, having to run back to base. Doesn't even have, okay, he just completed phase boots, but this is not the matchup you want. Look at the Terrorblade, 3.3k uncontested top lane, pushing it out. And I think the recovery mechanism for Quincy, normally in this position, your Lycan would at least be taking the early tower to kind of throw the gold back into the team.
True.
But because there's a Terrorblade in one lane, DK in the other, the Wyvern as well, you can't really get the ball rolling on Quincy right now. They need to probably punish this over-aggressive DK or something, but it's going to be very difficult right now.
I mean, Abed's first 2 Dragon forms have done basically like 80% damage to both the tier 1 bot and mid. As Quinn gets caught out by Crit. Nightfall trying to catch up here, but MSS with the Bushwhack, I'm sure, at the ready. Not sure if they can actually turn this around as Fata has come as well. Crit does get Bushwhacked with the Shadow Wave to follow. One more right click will do it, but he bops that wand. And the Illuminate sidestepped again, but he's still going to end up going down to Quinn's right click. So Quinn finally on the board here, which, like we've been talking about all game, is kind of the story of the game. That he, I mean, when you're a keeper of the light, it feels like you want to be top net worth at this point by a decent margin.
It just goes down to Abed's laning phase, right? The fact that he comes out the lane with 20 denies, he stunts that the gold of the keeper of light, prevents his economy, and then on top of that, just the way in which EG's moving around the map, they're just punishing these cores a little bit more. They're feeling the pressure of this offlane Lycan. It's not a traditional offlaner in regards to TPing to another lane and helping offset that aggression. He's very static in nature. And
Fata is dead.
Very dead.
Viper
like,
strike there.
40 seconds ago as well, Wyvern and Juggernaut were the exact same level. It's only now that you are got a little bit of mid lane in the jungle, he's been able to build up some more XP. So, yeah, very much a difficult entry to this game. Laning phase goes to EG.
I mean, I feel like we've heard that a million times before. Abed gets this tier 1 mid, by the way. Leslau, at the very least, is pressuring the tier 1 top. As you can see, the boots of travel from Quinn coming in, so Fly should be dead. And they're trying to give the kill to Quinn, which he'll take, and likely the tier 1 tower to follow.
And that's going to be the main aspect of Quincy Crew's draft there. The assassin style of Hoodwink setting up the fights, the TP on the wolf with the Keeper of Light. When they get their draft into some motion, they will be able to punish and fight into EG. The question is, will it be a little bit too late where are the cores and Quincy Crew confident enough to make these moves before EG has a Manta, a Skadi on Terrorblade, the BKB on Viper and DK? Because when that comes out, Coddle kind of falls off. He's a little bit more afraid to enter these fights.
Yeah, MSS just about to hit level 6 here. The illusion should give him the XP, so now has Sharpshooter to deal with. Which, that break mechanic against especially the Dragon Knight, pretty damn powerful. Even just the burst damage against something like the Terrorblade with pretty low HP, but high armor, pretty valuable.
I'd love to see a Wolf scouting out with Hoodwink also maybe smoked up, and then the TP of the Coddle, quick kill, and then a disengage. That could be some of the quirkier plays Quincy Crew has in their pocket to get behind this wall of just tank that EG is presenting right now. Because if you look at the minimap, they've got this like line of positioning in the Radiant jungle, and Arteezy is so deep behind it. They've set the map up that if Quincy Crew wants to kill Terrorblade, they're probably going to either bump into another hero. Yeah, as you see here, as they smoke up.
Yeah, Abed is pretty deep, but he's obviously got a couple reinforcements from EG just standing behind him. And he, I believe, has his Blink Dagger coming to him now. As we see the first Lycanthrope ult come out, Nightfall. He's going to be the one initiated on by Lelis, but you can see the crit snowball catching two. Ends up netting themselves a kill onto MSS. And it looks like the fight's going to break up here. There's a 2K lead now for EG.
Just unable to find any entry into this game, pretty much. Again, just the way that EG's setting up the map. They rebutted that smoke perfectly. They picked up the DK blink, so now they're on the counterplay. They have the smoke themselves. Ideally, they're looking for maybe the Jug or the Keeper of Light kills.
And you are still working on the Maelstrom. 1,000 away from finishing that. I mean, at what point with this kind of a build do you want to start fighting? Is it the Mjolnir Shard? Is that the go time, or is it usually a little bit later?
With everything being so stalled, you might even just do Maelstrom Shard, no Mjolnir, and look for it.
Nightfall able to TP out. Sharpshooter, not quite enough damage, as we see the Dragon Tail into the Curse from Fly. Not the greatest layering, but you can see Leslau is just outnumbered and brought down.
Arteezy comes in, collects his free kill. He soloed that Lycan, by the way.
Yep, very good. Well done. Now they're going to solo this Centaur.
Middle tower
See, they're just such a cohesive unit. We can just say it's a solo, right? Works so well together. Quinn just trying to take a small camp here from EG's side. But EG definitely looking like... I mean, it's obviously very early on, but they have... It feels like ever since that first loss to Nouns, they just have not looked the same. They have looked like the old EG with Fly, where they got second at multiple majors.
That is the expectation of the DPC, though, right? If you lose a series, you're meant to bounce back. It's what the more experienced teams are meant to do. And
that is true. Crit gonna get the initiation with the Dragon Tail to follow from Abed, and that is a dead Quinn.
a massive solo kill from RTZ again.
How is he always in the area just to get one attack off? And he'll take it, and you can see top net worth in the game as a result of this. And Yawar should be finishing this Maelstrom if he's not going to get killed here anytime soon. 200 gold away.
And just the positioning, again, like Viper, you're killing top. Viper then sweeps into the jungle to push them out, knowing that the Tusk, the DK, these guys are going to connect from the top tier 1 into middle. So just the fact that at, what was it, minute 14, Quincy Crew's parked by their tier 2s, behind their tier 2s.
Yeah.
This is the best game for a Terrorblade. It's 7k net worth right now, but if you blink in a couple minutes, it's going to easily be, 9k plus.
Yep, Crit dodging again with the snowball. My goodness. But he is soulbound. I would think they have enough catch to be able to finish him off, and they do. And you can see the min-maxing coming out from the Viper. Still farming.
That was a nice max cast range snowball, at least. There are a lot of closer options, but
yeah.
This finally, Quincy Crew, they got a big kill. They have an opportunity to get into the enemy side. There's not this pesky Tusk.
Yeah, they are scanned out, though. Actually, whose scan was that?
Yeah.
Oh, that was the EG scan, actually.
EG scan, yeah.
Okay.
That was our TZ scan, probably. I want to hit my entrance. Boop.
And he ran away. He has Manta, by the way, with treads, so...
I feel like they should actually say who uses scan. Because scan's a very high skill thing in the competitive games.
Yeah.
I'd really appreciate on the left if it's like, Fly has used scan.
What about fortification?
Yeah, exactly.
Especially in pubs. I need to know who wasted that fortification. But Yawar gets the spin off, and he's actually getting extra move speed thanks to becoming a pig. You'd think they would have chosen a different animal to gain movement speed for. Pig is probably the last on the list here. Might as well put the... Yeah, a horse would be pretty good. I might as well use a sloth if you're going to use a pig to gain speed.
Just dunking on your opponent. I'm sloughing away from you.
Like if you had evasion, maybe like pigs can be slippery and hard to control and hard to corral. But they're not fast.
But I feel like there was already a pig model. So it's probably a little bit easier.
Yes, Dragon Tail from Abed and the punch from Crit. Goodbye, Fata. And that's death number 5 for him. Having a rough one to start this out for Quincy Crew.
Is anyone going for any interesting itemization on EG at least? No. Blink on Tusk at some point. Dragon Nuts BKB. Yeah, so everyone just doing standard itemization. No one's being a little bit quirky. With the early leads, sometimes players get a little bit excited. Oh, maybe I can do this, but no. Just keeping it very standard. And for Quincy Crew, they're pretty much waiting for Lycan to pick up his Helm of the Overlord. And at that point, you then look to maybe make some split push plays. It ain't great.
Quinn just stole all the creeps from Lelis. Poor guy. He's just like, I just need the recipe, bro.
But he but Koddle pinged his Orchid. Look how much... Oh, no.
That's true. Quinn, I mean, he's kind of far away from Orchid, so...
And unfortunately for Quinn, I don't think this Orchid's going to be that explosive, wow, I've got Orchid, I'm controlling the game. Because the BKBs will...
We have a smoke from Quincy Crew. It's going to be popped already from Fata. Bushwhack. Illuminate's going to clip Arteezy into the sharpshooter. But you can see the Dragon Tail coming out, and Quinn is their target. But a nice grave from Fata. Going to keep Quinn alive a little bit longer, but you can tell that he is definitely going to die here. Goes down to the right click, but a big Illuminate on the way out. But the Thunder onto Fly. What a teammate as Arteezy back in fighting shape. But EG, they're pretty low on HP. A little bit of miss. Click there from Nightfall, not able to get to the low ground with that horsey of his. And actually, that's another one. The horse... Oh, what is that actual item called?
It's called Tumbler's Toy.
Tumbler's Toy. It should be a frog, to be fair. It's a hop.
I was going to try and argue with you, but I kind of agree.
Thank you.
Really close.
Abed jumping in. You can see the fireball already online for him. And man, ever since they added this shard for Dragon Knight, he just does way more damage. And that was kind of his issue way back in the day. It was just a glorified stun.
Yeah. Simplifies his game, secures his farm. But Quincy Crew, that previous fight, the Omni Slash, it nearly kind of cleaned them all up. But the Wyvern with the Curse and the Thunder onto the Wyvern, EG very luckily, I think, in that place, surviving. That easily could have been a couple kills for Quincy Crew, and then the momentum to find more. So some clutch spell usage from EG to keep themselves back in. And because they have the lead, they quickly reset, recover, back into mid, get another kill. But you got to feel bad for Quincy a little bit. That could have been a potential turning point to at least give Jug a little bit more entry to this game. He's still bottom of the cores, outside of Lycan, struggling to keep up.
Yeah, and I have to say, obviously Quincy Crew have looked unbelievable all season long, not dropping a singular game until the last day. But EG, their laning stage looks world class. It has, like, none of their laning stages from my memory in the last few weeks at least have looked even remotely close. The fact that they're with the 4K lead right now against this type of a lineup, which is very high octane, right? It's Keeper of the Light, Lycan, freaking Juggernaut. You want to fight early. And they just haven't gotten to the point where they can even start fighting it.
Yeah, it feels like they still need to wait for 10+ minutes to even enter this game. So, yeah, EG's done a really good job there. And if they do make it to the major, it'll be fun to see EG pin up against like Tundra, like the European version of laning dominators and stuff.
Right.
Again, let's not get carried away. We're only 20 minutes in. There is plenty of opportunities for Quincy Crew with this lineup to get a team wipe at some point and then run it down mid because they have the Lycan. If EG does get a little bit too overconfident.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing that I've seen from EG, that they will at times give up their lead, right, after the laning. Like, the laning stage is always super impressive, but it doesn't mean they win every single game. They've dropped some games here and there. Outside of that first series loss to Nouns, obviously, where they just didn't really look like themselves necessarily, but...
And as we talk about that, Arteezy, after the Manta, some Terrorblade players, they go for Skadi. He's instantly going for the BKB. He's thinking about that. First Roshan, get the Aegis, have a BKB available, and then not be pressured by Keeper Light, the Hoodwink, any of this, even just the smaller things like the Maelstrom procs. Like, these, they all add up over time, so yeah.
What do you think of the Manta being purchased here by Yawar? So not the Mjolnir that you've been saying people have been going for.
In this game, if you went Mjolnir, it's over. It's way too greedy, way too offensive. The Mjolnir build is more when you're freely farming and killing heroes. But I think Manta, it's under a lot of fight, and there's a lot of singles target initiation, be it DK and Tusk. So it kind of gives you some ways to outplay, right? They jump in, you quickly Manta, which one's the correct one? Also, the split push game. Quincy Crew, they have the Lycan. Now you're going to have Mantas on top of that. You need to be able to match Terrorblade to some degree. So having these Manta illusions, getting the waves out, it helps.
Yeah, Abed pops that level 2 dragon form, and here they come looking for Yawar. It's going to pop. Does he have time to spin? He does. Dodges out that dragon tail. Good reaction time from Yawar as they're going to try to turn this around, but the snowball is potentially going to save him from that sharpshooter. It's coming. It does clip him. Do they have enough damage to actually take him out? No, the Illuminate just misses. And Abed now on the run. He's going to get slowed perpetually thanks to this Solar Bind, but he's covered by a lot of heroes. Nightfall is going to try to TP out in the midst of an Omni Slash, and he's going to get out. The curse not even needed, but Fly actually pays the ultimate price for staying behind. And Abed getting chased by a Triceratops and 2 wolves. He will actually survive throughout all of this. But a good fight from Quincy Crew, and knowing that Dragon Form is going to end soon, along with that TB Metamorphosis, they're going to go for this Roche.
That was like the perfect recovery for Quincy Crew, right? Juggernaut tanks up the initiation, doesn't get caught. Abed super aggressive now. There aren't these saves outside of Tusk, so they're able to punish there. Quincy Crew still respecting the strength of EG. But yeah, if you're...
Oh, he didn't actually use meta at all.
I don't think he did, no, yeah. I was about to say that after.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
I just assumed.
You assumed wrong.
Yeah, I do that a lot. 5-man smoke now from EG. So still with that meta online as we have established here. They're going to come right into the triangle again. MSS is going to pop the smoke. Bushwhack pretty much instantly, but there's a snowball. And the save onto MSS for now. Fata stuck inside the shard. So at the very least, EG is going to clean up 2 support kills. As MSS not able to... yeah, does fall in the end. So double kill for Arteezy. And now this opens up the Roche for EG instead.
It feels like that previous fight, right? The Omni Slash. You nearly killed the Viper. In the previous fight, you nearly killed the Terrorblade. And now it's like, we didn't kill them, they reset, they run back us again, but we just can't take the fight this time. We don't have the Omni Slash, we don't have the Hoodwink spells, we don't have Lycan, like, it's difficult. So unfortunately for Quincy, the 2 big fights they could have potentially found some big core kills on EG, they were millimeters away from getting it. And in doing so, EG, they didn't use the meta, now they use it accordingly, get the Aegis, and goes back their way. This is rough. I think Quincy, they've done a pretty good job at least picking the correct fights to take. It's just, again, they're just missing that one element of damage to help them out.
He's actually alone. There's a TP coming in now from EG, though.
They have Tusk behind him, so you'll be able to buy some time for the TP.
Arteezy just running at the dinosaur. Looks like he's going to fall back now. Ultra aggressive play here. But yeah, EG, that Roche certainly helps as they're probably going to extend their lead, as we've seen so many times with these early Aegises, as you take out these outer towers. MSS with the sharpshooter. Snowball is available, but they're going to get the cold embrace off first. And that's during the BKB. And the rest of EG now look to be potentially on the run here. The Bushwhack's not going to connect there, as Fly gets deleted by Leslau, apparently. And the Solar Bind onto Arteezy. This could be a really good kill. Obviously just the Aegis, but they can burn it early. They'll be very happy with that, and that is enough. The Blade Fury from Yawar, as they focus their sights onto Abed for now. The Omni Slash is available onto Abed. He is just dead, just like that. And now Arteezy looking to fight. Has the BKB activated. Quinn gets graved. Now Yawar into that pig, but he's getting slowed by the Viper. Looks like the spin will take off that debuff, and he'll be just fine. So a nice turnaround here from Quincy crew, as they're looking to take out Viper, and indeed they do. Beautifully done. The sharpshooter gets that break, so no corrosive skin, and the burst damage to follow.
And that's the tip from laning phase. Nightfall tipping Fata. Finally, Fata is able to return the favor right back at him.
He's been waiting for it.
He's been waiting for it, and yeah, that's honestly a perfect tip and a perfect counterplay. Viper, super aggressive in positioning, and kind of the unsung hero of this game right now is this Lycan. With the Helm of the Overlord sending the Wolves in, he's non-stop just crippling this Viper, going onto the Wyvern. And EG, they're playing with a kind of an aura of confidence right now. Very split, very kind of individually being in the face of Quincy. And in doing so, a little bit over time, he was able to insta-kill off the Wyvern, you wasted the Viper BKB, and look at this. This is not a team fight from EG. They're just awkwardly spread around. So yeah, Quincy, they find an opportunity and finally get to punish them.
Yeah, the sharpshooters have been really on point.
That too.
But you are able to, as you see, that is the most, okay, that is actually the most animated I've ever seen Yawar, and he was literally on my team back in the day. He didn't say a word.
I mean, to be fair though, he's been the juggernaut, bottom of the cores, really struggling in this game, and now finally he's kind of found a moment to enter. His Omni Slash connected, he killed the DK. Yeah, EG, they had a nice little window. They had the Aegis, everything was going their way. They clutched out some of these team fights, and they kind of threw it away a little bit. Look at the net worth. Jug now top 3. Still not near the Terrorblade, but
true. But
he's up.
We've seen these Terrorblade games, even if you're top net worth, if you can kite him, I mean, at the very least, they're very used to playing against an Arteezy Terrorblade.
That's true. I think most of North America is used to playing against the Terrorblade.
I mean, usually it ends in a loss, but for the other team, that is.
I'm excited to see how Quincy will kind of take initiative now in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Simply because DK just picked up BKB, and Quincy crew, we would argue the one fight they have won in this game so far has been on EG being very over-aggressive and not respecting the positions of all of the 5 heroes at the start of a fight. And I don't think EG will present that opportunity again. So for Quincy, I kind of feel if EG sets up at a tower, their ability to fight is going to be really hard. So if they do want to try and get a couple more kills, it's going to be off the back of a smoke, or at least finding some of these heroes individually before EG just groups up once again.
An interesting item choice, which
Blink. Oh, I thought you meant on Viper.
Oh, that is also interesting. I didn't see that one. But Yawar is going for a Linken's. So to me, this obviously there's a lot of stuff that Linken's will block here with the Viper Strike, Thunder. What does Walrus punch? I guess not. The Snowball. No, not the Snowball either. But
it breaks the Wyvern. That's the main reason.
Curse. I mean, that's the thing, though, is they have so many things that actually go through the spin, right? They have 2 abilities, and then the Walrus Punch, which goes through the Linken's, obviously.
There is plenty of spells that go through his spin. Therefore, Linken's just gives him more entry and tankiness to the fight. And I think he's kind of feeling that he just needs to survive for this Lycan to do this chip damage to everyone, because Lycan into Viper, Viper's not having fun. Wyvern, not having fun. Tusk, he'll have to use Snowball by himself. So there's a lot of pressure on Lelis to kind of remove a hero before the fight even starts. Their way of playing this game right now is push out lanes. If they find an opportunity, you poke and prod them with these creeps. Once EG uses a key spell, then you kind of swarm in after the fact, like you saw in that previous fight. And now EG, they haven't been punished in the last couple of minutes. They've grouped up. They have the BKB on DK. They really want to just find some kills and start pressuring these towers. I feel like they've spent a little bit too long playing around with Quincy crew and allowing them back into the game.
And I mean, the Linken's Fair, to me, it seems like Quincy crew are very comfortable going late game then, because Yawar's not going to be doing much damage with this build. mean, he's got some stats. Obviously, Manta is very good. Maelstrom, he doesn't even have the shard yet to couple up with the Maelstrom. Just wants to survive.
Quincy Crew's late game is all about clutching out some of these more difficult fights.
Oh, Abed. Okay, not able to get the Dragon Tail off. That ends up being a wasted smoke from EG, at least in terms of trying to find a pick-off for themselves.
Ooh, okay. Lycan actually going for, I'd say second item. Drum's kind of like a half an item, but for the Axe.
Okay. Yep, that is where the damage comes from.
Yeah,
Mr. Juggernaut the Wolf.
Exactly. So
Okay.
now you're going to have the Lincoln's on the Juggernaut, with the Lycan going for the Ags to put it onto the Jug. It's going to help out with the damage issues like we just mentioned.
All right. It's been a while since I've seen this. It's obviously just, that was the big, I want to say the crave. That's not the rave? Yeah, that was the rave at
The craze. It was the craze.
Yeah, the craze, the rave. Whatever word, that was TI.
The Lycan, the Tiny.
Yeah, the Tiny with the Christmas tree. I remember it like it was just yesterday.
Look at me, I can wolf fight my carry, and he slaps everything. Woo! Yeah, it was pretty cool. I'm surprised we don't see it a little bit more in regards to Lycan Tiny. It hasn't really changed too much. But it's the thing with competitive Dota. Sometimes players are like, it doesn't feel good, so then don't play it. But we get to see the Axe pick up here. Will EG be surprised by it? Will Quincy just fall flat in the fight?
The Sir Action Slacks invention, Wolf Bite. As Yawar will be turning into a wolf in this next fight, no doubt about it, unless they misclick and turn.
I was about to say, if they misclick and turn
Dazzle.
the Cuddle. Oh my.
Even worse.
That's a very greedy Lycan. I want to wolf bite my Dazzle so he can keep up with me so I can get Grave.
I want to see an ultra late game scenario where you get Refresher and you wolf bite a support just because you can. In addition to your core, of course.
Ooh, all right. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
But Quinn, obviously a bit of a rough start, but he's gotten back into this game as the Spirit Vessel is on him. He's had that for quite a while as Nightfall gets that Blink Dagger off. Viper Strike on an MSS, but the early Grave comes out. Sharpshooter get a little bit of extra distance. Looks like he'll survive thanks to that healing ward. As Nightfall, he's getting blocked by the creeps here. Has to BKB. Along with that Cold Embrace at the same time, Omni Slash to follow, attempting to TP out, not happening. Full Omni Slash from Yawar is enough, as now it turns into a 5 versus 4. Artesian Company in the triangle. Fly's gonna get taken out relatively early, and you can see Yawar is a wolf, but will spin away. Cannot look at Arteezy. Even though he's not playing Medusa this time. Illuminate onto 2. Arteezy looking to stand his ground. Obviously without spin and Omni Slash, Yawar is gonna be a bit careful here. Spin is back up now, though. As they're going to get another Solar Bind onto Crit with that Spirit Vessel and the Wolves. Man, that is so annoying to deal with. As an Octarine now online for Quinn. And you can see Arteezy with the BKB. And he's going to TP out. So EG, they've definitely lost their lead as Quincy Crew. 1:20 from Roche.
I think this might single-handedly be the best Lycan game that I've seen from a player. Every single one of these kills is coming off the back of the Wolves plus his unit pre-clicking on the hero, punishing him. He's not running in as a Lycan. Like the Viper, he BKBs, instantly gets Cold Embrace, he dies. Then you send the Wolves onto the Viper, he dies. Then you chase down the Tusk, he dies. At no point did Quincy Crew overcommit to the fight. They just play on the Lycan, and at every point where they see a kill, because they've finally got that cripple slow onto them from the Wolf, they then go for it, because Keeper like throws out so much damage from behind. So yeah, not often when I say this, but they don't have a lot of team fight in their draft, but they are playing around this Lycan to somewhat give them a indirect form of team fight, just because they're finding the key heroes every single time. I'd argue EG now, if they want to fight Quincy Crew, they need to play out underneath their own vision or under the threat of a smoke, because when it's just in open terrain, they're not really hitting their spells to punish Quincy Crew, because they're not really, again, they're not fighting them. They're just poking them non-stop until they just fumble their positioning.
Right, and now Fata, I mean, he's had this for a bit now, but the Shard allowing him to actually deal with these Terrorblade illusions, so anytime they go down lane, look for him to Poison Touch, instantly destroy them. And we can see the Lincolns is up there for Yawar, as Arteezy now with the Shadow Blade and Silver Edge soon to come.
That could be the counter to Quincy Crew. 5 Shadow Blades on EG, Lycan can't find you.
That is true.
Please don't buy 5 Shadow Blades.
Oh, the Bushwhack onto the high ground. You can see EG here in numbers, though. And we'll see what Quincy Crew want to do, because we talked about how their lineup... I mean, they've looked better as the game has gone on. Obviously, they wanted to get off to a better start, but if this continues at this trend, we're going to get to the late game territory. Like, how does Quincy Crew look versus a Terrorblade?
It's awkward because I feel like EG late game, their draft is better on paper to Quincy Crew, but the way in which Quincy Crew's using their heroes, they're fully punishing EG, so I think they're going to be comfortable playing throughout all stages of the game. The main thing is, can they isolate the Terrorblade? Can they deal with him? When he picks up the Shadow Blade, the Omni Slash probably losing a little bit of effect there, but finally, EG, they smoke up.
They do. Crit instantly jumps MSS, who gets graved, so it's going to give him a little bit of extra time to put down an Acorn Shot Bushwhack combo. Will eventually die, though, as Abed. Yawar, he's going to get Wolf Bitten. Wolf Bit. As the actual Lycan ult comes out, there's a buyback on MSS if they actually want to fight here. Spirit Vessel applied to crit. This has been the bane of his existence. He's taking so much damage. Finally trying to get that Urn Charge on him. Gonna get healed up a bit by Fly. But Abed, he's got the extra movement speed, but the nice Poison Touch Sheep. Talked about no stuns. There you go.
2-second stun, don't forget. Very big.
Especially when they group up.
Counters Terrorblade 2 with the illusions.
Yep.
Dire's middle tower.
Again, just look at the backlines. Fly's like, oh, who do I have to Cold Embrace next?
Oh, Roche. Okay, Roche is up.
And both of the, I say Lycanauts, because Shapeshift and Wolfbite, kind of an ult in their own right, are on cooldown, so Quincy Crew, they were doing a very good job, but again, the lack of ability to get into the fight outside of just poking, it looks like it should be Aegis towards EG, but they are going to contest.
They're going to try to contest here, but you can see the tier 3 tower taking a ton of damage with this Dinosaur, so Lel's doing a good job there, but Aegis is cleared. So Arteezy gets that for himself. The tier 3 still alive, but did take quite heavy damage. And Shard is in the backpack of Arteezy. I haven't gotten to see Demon Zeal in quite a while. So, looks like he's given it up now. To the ground.
Where on the ground?
It's on Viper. Wait, who picked it up? Oh, it's on the Wyvern now. Oh wait, Wyvern bought his own, so it's still on the ground.
Okay, yeah. Viper's picked it. Oh no, Viper failed to pick it up. Viper can't pick it up because Arteezy picked it up.
All right, interesting. So Fly bought his own shard, knowing that the team would never give that to him.
Now Arteezy's picking it up. He can't pick it up. Nope, you can't pick it up with Kurz.
Interesting.
Oh well.
I didn't know that.
Oh, today we all learned together. Couriers can't pick up the shard.
Imagine if Lelis was just farming down that area still.
I mean,
just pick up a free shard.
Okay, the real question is, will someone actually entertain going back here for the shard? They've basically
if you go down bottom lane, you'll get a free shard.
Yeah.
Anytime.
And Quincy Crew, they're kind of going there. It's the race for the shard. Poor Fly is walking down there by himself now.
Okay, so he is the courier as of now.
Oh, I was really hoping you are at the 6th sense.
Oh, man, that could have been.
That is rough.
It's 1,400 gold. It's not the end of the world, but that would have been hilarious.
Luckily for Fly, there's already bot lane pressure here. If he had to come down here and the wave was already by like Radiant tier 2, how depressing is that?
Right. So it looks like they want to give the shard to the Viper.
But Fly's still holding on to it again, don't forget.
He is.
For now.
Of course, he can't consume it, luckily for Nightfall.
He can delete it, unluckily for Nightfall.
That is true. This is NA Dota after all, but Fly, he's a respectable young man.
Right, the real question is, okay, he wasn't going to try and manually put the shard onto the Courier. I was going to see if they were going to go for the final attempt of using the Courier on it.
So when Nightfall picks that up, he's going to be able to push these towers pretty fast, but you are getting set up by that Bushwhack. Blade Fury doing a lot, and Thunder can't come out because of the Blade Fury. Actually gets Bushwhacked again to the trees, but Arteezy looking for a Thunder target.
I will argue at this point in the game, if you click on Juggernaut, he might want to swap out that Quelling Blade for a Dust.
Okay.
The fact that you have a Silver Edge on this Terrorblade is simply to punish node detection and to be able to disjoin the Omni Slash. So I'd like to see Juggernaut have his own detection to deal with it later on.
Okay.
But the fact that EG was very aggressive in this mid push, whilst Fly did present himself in bot lane, potential opportunity.
Yeah, so this, I think he sundered an illusion, I want to say? Oh, he sundered the illusion of MSS.
Shard, yeah, but that doesn't give you anything. So, very unfortunate for him. Found out the hard way.
Lesla able to TP out here. Wait, how does that... I mean, you can sunder your own illusions and gain HP, so it doesn't work against enemy illusions? Or is it because it's a decoy?
I guess it's because of the decoy.
That's a really
one,
random thing. Huh.
I feel like RTZ and was like, oh, guess I can't do that now. So far in this series, EG has learned that you can't thunder a decoy, and you can't put Shard on Courier.
Interesting. Wow, this is good trivia for a future time.
But this is the thing. Dota is such a complex game. Not everyone knows everything, and we've learned 2 things, and EG's learned 2 things as well. So
That's right.
forever learning. That is the beauty of life. You always need to be willing to learn.
No, then you get old and you don't care anymore. Not speaking from experience here, of course.
No, of course not. You're like 29.
Sure. Sheepstick on to
backache. Oh.
Mr. Quinn, and he is very, very farmed.
I mean, he's been doing an exceptional job with just Orchid, and now you throw a Hex on top of that. If EG's ever out of position, the range that you have on this hero is going to be even more difficult for EG to take these fights.
I know they nerfed it. We're going to see a counter sheep apparently onto Nightfall. I know they nerfed it, but do you think we're going to see an Ags at any point this game from Quinn with the Will-O-Wisp? Is it good this game? I feel like it would be pretty good. I don't know how good it is these days though after that nerf it got a while back.
I'd argue if Quincy's able to take a fight, it probably is going to be perfectly fine. There's a lot of ranged heroes on EG. All 4 of the heroes bar Tusk will be able to kill it off from a distance. But if he's already got his key items, picking up a casual Ags to help a little bit more with the control, help the Lycan Jug, I wouldn't be opposed to it. He probably is partially thinking about it. The other option is maybe going for more defensive, like a Lotus or something.
He's probably banking on getting that Ags from that next Roche.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think against like Snowball, Will-O-Wisp is something that I think Crit would be exceptionally annoyed with. Coming out of Snowball and having to deal with that.
You want to fight into the wolves that are already stopping you, then a random Wisp appears, yeah.
Right.
It could be very obnoxious for sure. I mean, the fact that EG struggled to take pretty much a perfect fight in the last 15 minutes simply because of how this Lycan's been playing. Again, I want a lot of props to Lelis. His Lycan has kept Quincy Crew in this game.
Lelis, aka Leslau, and his beautiful cat in the background.
Oh yeah, is it? I see his Leslau in... Do I have to say Leslau or can I say Lelis?
I say Lelis most of the time.
Okay, I was worried for a second. I realized I've been calling it
that cat's so
there
cute.
He is.
So cute.
Wait, is that 2 or 1 back there?
That's 1 cat.
Oh.
He has a cat tower that looks like nothing I've ever seen. And the cat obviously does not like it, as cats do.
Do cats ever enjoy the things that you buy them?
No.
Or do they actively seek, oh, thanks for buying me a new bed?
They like empty boxes.
That's true.
So we just buy stuff for ourselves and the cats love it. So 2K lead for EG. Very, very even game after EG looked like they had control of it. But then a big turnaround from Quincy has essentially evened up this game. You can see the Blink Dagger now on Yawar, so still not going for the damage. And I'm very interested what he goes for next. It looks like it will be Basher, so going for a little bit of control.
All in on the shard play, right? So now he's going to be Maelstrom proccing, bashing.
Okay.
And it feels like Quincy, they're itemizing and playing for the fact that EG plays a little bit more on cooldowns, right? The Terrorblade, if you waste a meta and you can disengage from that, maybe using a Clutch Grave that blinks out, then you can refight and really punish EG pre-refresher on Terrorblade. And also, Viper and DK right now, they're heavily relying on BKBs to be present in these fights due to the Coddle spam and the hexes. So, yeah, I think if EG, if they actually get punished a little bit here, their ability to play on the map could fall apart. And now that you see these items picked up, Quincy's finally leaving the base looking. But the fact that they have bot lane pushing in, mid lane pushing in, EG should be well aware this happened. Unfortunately, not the best of smokes being constructed to allow Quincy Crew to really develop anywhere on the map.
They'll at least get some D-wards in their own jungle, so get recontrol of this with the outpost. I do have a... Go ahead. You're very excited to talk about
Wyvern has a smoke now. The counterplay. You see them smoke, and then you instantly go for the group and go.
Yes.
But what were you going to say, sorry?
I'm interested why... We see a lot of these shards picked up on Jug. Not that's the most popular pick in general, but why do they never go for Blade Fury Radius on 10? It's always... I'm not saying 5 stats is bad, but it feels like a lot of your strategies revolved around this Blade Fury. And 75 Radius is pretty large.
But stats equals tankier.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to say, right?
You can't buy... You can buy 5 stats.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I feel like when you compare the two, I feel like naturally in the games you prefer stats. Also, don't forget Omni Slash, the right-clicking. The stats is a lot more transferable throughout the game.
It's more consistent.
Just a radius. Exactly.
Okay.
So I'm very sorry that wouldn't work out.
Well, he's just going to get level 27 and get it anyway. That's probably what he had in mind.
This game is going to last a very long time.
It does feel like it's going to be a late game scenario.
We're watching Terrorblade push lanes out with illusions, and no one on EG... Because after like 20 minutes, EG didn't care about the map at all. They were just running around, killing things, positioning very aggressively, which was kind of their undoing. And now they rely on Terrorblade to use his Silver Edge to get to aggressive positions, spawn all these illusions, send them deep into Radiant side, kill off the creep waves. And on the flip side, Quincy Crew, they're using the Keeper of Light, the Lycan Wolves. They're doing the same thing, also with the Jug Spin. Both teams just non-stop pushing out creeps, trying to kind of formulate their plan. How do we actually get onto the enemy?
It feels like Roche is going to be the next contention point because both teams seem to be relatively okay. As I say that, though, Quincy Crew are coming towards this top lane. As you can see, Abed on the complete other side, so this would be a potential good time for them to jump in. It looks like he's going to reconnect as Yawar looking for the blink Omni Slash. It's getting scouted out here by the Wolves.
They got to kill off this wolf. Giving too much information.
Oh, there's the blink spin and the instant bash to follow. That is a dead Winter Wyvern, but that flyby's back into the game instantly. Big punch in the air. Arteezy's focusing on Fata. He'll get him easily, but this is the big kill. Lelis gets Dragon Tail inside the fireball. 3 dead for Quincy Crew. And now Yawar on the run, has the Omni Slash, could potentially try to go for the Blade Fury TP, which he will do after the blink. The Lincoln Sphere pops, but there's the Walrus Punch to cancel. And this is a big-time win team fight for EG.
The instant buyback from Lycan. He wants to try and get some waves pushed out, but yeah, EG, they understand the aggression needed from Quincy Crew to try and take a fight outside Roshan. They have beautiful high ground vision. They're all hugging it. And the way that Quincy Crew started that fight was them just chasing for the Wyvern, going in. And by the time that Jug went in, they weren't able to protect their backlines and instantly coddled Dazzle after perfect positioning throughout the last 20 minutes behind this Lycan. They just got picked off because they were in the dire jungle, in the dire vision. So unfortunate for Quincy, but EG, they just set up that defensive move. And it was like, if Quincy comes into this area, we'll kill them. If they don't come here, we're fortified to contest Roshan. So yeah, unfortunately, Quincy Crew falling into EG's trap a little bit. And EG understanding how to take fights into this Lycan, because in open terrain, without vision, without sentries, they were falling apart. Because again, Quincy Crew takes the fight in the same way they've done this entire time. The Wolf up front, then you send in the Jug after the fact. But now, you see here, already on the backline, Keeper Light instantly killed off from the Tusk and the Terrorblade, and Quincy's on the retreat. So yeah, it's unfortunate. It does happen.
Definitely a rough fight for Quincy Crew. But the silver lining is that Roche was not up, because I think if at this stage now, if EG gets this third Roche,
it's up.
That might be it. Walrus Punch, you see, canceled that TP. And like you said, third Roche is up. It's the Refresher Shard. And I do believe Quincy Crew are not going to be able to even contest.
Look, especially with the lanes, right? They're going Roshan, but you already have... Just look at the sea of illusions swarming the Quincy Crew's base right now. They have... Oh, this is difficult. And of course, Abed also went for the Manta as well. The technology for the ticks of the ultimate. And just even more ways to keep lanes pushed out.
And Arteezy holding onto that Refresher Shard. So once that Aegis is up, expect that to be used to get another meta, another BKB. And EG in prime position. I was thinking, Nouns are obviously watching this game. Who would they even be rooting for? I actually have no idea. Because we've talked about this before, but if EG wins, then they're 100% going to the major, and then it becomes a best-of-1 all-in between Quincy Crew and Nouns to see who is that second slot.
I would argue if you're Nouns, you would want EG to win.
So you just have that best-of-1.
Exactly.
As opposed to having to just redo the whole thing.
Yeah. Because if you redo the whole thing, it's a whole other variable of, okay, go again, you lose to EG. Like, maybe you beat them, but I don't know. I feel like it's way too difficult. If I was a team in this situation, if you get into the major, you need to be able to win a game, right? So
yep. Yawar gets a nice spin off here. See multiple sheeps there. Is that the poison touch?
It's a pig.
Yes, thank you. The pigs. Thank you for correcting me. And the illusions, because it does this full damage over time to the tower, is pretty damn powerful, even though it is kind of weird to see Manta on the DK. But that is going to be the tier 3 tower down in EG with the Aegis Cheese.
This is so disgusting. This is death by 1,000 cuts. You send the Terrorblade illusions in, you send the DK ultimate illusions in. The DK illusions then do the 30 DPS per hit still.
Yeah.
Because look here, click on that tower. Look at that tower. Oh, okay, it died, but still. Look, little, chunking it down, Look at that.
Yep, it's doing stuff.
Ugh.
But now he's
annoying.
in human form.
Luckily, Quincy Crew does have the hexes to be able to kill them off. But still.
Does he have enough mana to sustain this? just constantly. He has to go back to Fountain, for God's sake.
This is so annoying.
But they do have a lot of spam in the form of the Illuminate, of course. And obviously Chakra Magic will help. But
Look at top lane. We got some more DK illusions
I mean, on top
coming
of all
in.
this, we did mention briefly, but Nightfall Shard helps them push very well because of the minus armor and being able to
look at
poison
Abed. He's just giggling. Look at him. This is the most dishonest way to win a game, EG. You're playing off of illusions.
Well, they got both tier 3s now.
They're coming in again.
Yeah, why not?
And he's got Octarine on DK. He wants Spell Prism. He wants DK. Luckily,
He groups them up, though. That's
Groups
a
them
big
up.
mistake.
Dazzle's the big counter here. A lot of pressure on Fata right now. But look at there in the top lane.
Man, that is actually very annoying.
This is like the old school
War forced
SD
to spin
Luna.
it down. He will get it, but you can see the Ranger Axe is ticking ever so slowly. And Quincy crew obviously do not want to try to fight into both the Aegis and Cheese.
Abed does have his ult on cooldown right now, therefore not able to
Saving
perfectly
grace.
utilize his Manta.
Yeah, this is
Quincy needs to somehow get out of the base and just cause a fight after Aegis, to be clear. But
I mean, to be fair, EG, they're slowly sieging. They're not really gaining in net worth at all because they're not really killing that many creeps.
no, because they're giggling about these illusions right now. Oh, look at us. We're using our illusions to win. They're all just having a good blast.
Yeah, they're going to go for it again. Needs to probably separate these so they don't both get...
There's the
there we go.
separation.
Nice micro from Abed. One of them goes down, and now the Ranger Axe looks to be next for the mid lane. Is Nightfall doing a good job? Is the Aghanim Scepter online for Arteezy, which gives him that fear AoE there, along with 10 seconds of meta. And you are, again, having to spin just to take down these illusions, and Nightfall...
With the shard as well, of course.
Yep.
He himself can pepper these racks as well.
Yep, Sharpshooter does connect, but again, they are just getting hit from
every
all
front.
angles. Fata looks very calm about it, though. He's been in a pub or two. This has certainly happened to him at some point. As you have the AoE Dragon Tail now for Abed. And he's going for Octarine.
Yeah, no, he's got Spell Prism Octarine.
Yeah, that's...
Send in the TB illusions, please. Thank you very much.
All right, on to the melee racks we go.
25 seconds for DK Ultimate to then send in...
Yeah, these are pathetic illusions. As we can see, the win percentage actually much higher for the HP and armor, but far less picked.
The AoE, of course, helps against Lycan with all the summons coming in.
And there's the Octarine. So what's the cooldown on the ult these days?
It's going to be...
92 seconds.
And it lasts 60, so still 30-second downtime.
Okay, that's a melee Rax they eventually get for EG.
For absolute free.
Yep. They're going to get the Sharpshooter off with the Centaur Stomp to follow, but Viper
Oh,
looks to
the
be
curse.
mega okay. Curse ends up deleting Fata. And you can see the Viper Strike being applied here as a snowball in, trying to get aggressive. The buyback comes in from Dazzle as the fear comes out from Arteezy. Quinn at the last moment gets graved, but it's only going to last so long. He's inside that fireball. Another fear comes out from Arteezy as he gets that refresher orb off, and now the pounding into the racks. So mid lane is down. EG trying to reset.
And by reset, you mean back off and send the illusions in.
Well, the melee is still up in the top lane, and both racks on bottom as well. So now that the Aegis is down, we'll see if Quincy Crew are going to try to get aggressive.
Did we have the stats for gold obtained from illusions?
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
25k lead for EG now, as they are absolutely suffocating Quincy Crew in this best of one.
And now finally the illusion spam has stopped, so they've smoked up, they've tried to get out on the map, and Tusk, big pick up there. He's got the Wind Waker, so that's going to help save some of these clutch fights, and they're buying Dagons on Quincy Crew. Like, they need to try and find ways to kill the illusions.
That is, I mean, it's not that unusual on a Coddle, but unfortunately for Quinn, he's just dead. 2 minutes, no buyback whatsoever. And you can see EG applying all their pressure to Yawar. He's going to get bit, it looked like, but there's the curse to come out. And Yawar beating on his own teammate now, as both will likely die shortly after the AoE Dragon Tail and all that damage to come out. They do have buybacks on everybody but Quinn at this stage. But now EG can go for Megas, they can go for Throne, they can do whatever the hell they want.
Oh, and finally Nightfall returns the tip.
Yep, he finally gets revenge as top racks is down. Arteezy gonna back away for the time being, but you can see that the bottom racks The melee one is the last remaining one for Quincy Crew. So Mega Creep should be going the way of EG. And unless there is some absolutely miraculous comeback for Quincy Crew, EG will be going to the major. They'll be the first representative from NA to qualify for Arlington.
Incredible. I'm not going to say comeback, but after the first series in the first week of DPC, EG, bit shaky, losing to Nouns. Yeah, their improvement across the season. It is the improvement that you wanted to see for this team. It really puts them in a good spot to do well.
We see the Fear come out, and the Sunder as well from Arteezy, who pops the Refresher, and that is the death of MSS, who's going to have to buy back in the game, but you can see how much damage is being done to these buildings, and EG can probably just ignore everybody else from Quincy Crew as they look to end this game, and they'll go 2-0 in this tiebreaker situation. Still want to take UR out one more time. Another tip from Nightfall as the GGs come out. So EG, they look dominant, and they will be going to Arlington. Congratulations to them. And Quincy Crew, of course, will have to face off against Nouns next in a best-of-1